86. Anytime you like. Okay. At this time on it's August 22, um, I want to remember John Lewis, the great, great civil rights worker. I say this with some deep emotion because John was a dear friend of mine for many, many years. Um, I first met John, I think, at the marches in Milwaukee in 1966. He was supporting Father Grappi, as well as Dick Gregory and a number of other folks who were out there to support the drive for open housing in Milwaukee. And that was the first time I met him. Then, when I was working with Dick Gregory from 1973 to 76, we used to fast a lot. And one of those fasts was in Atlanta. And John would come to those and fast with us for a while. And he, so I'm trying to say to you, over the years, we had occasions to be together for little bits of time, which was wonderful. And, I knew him the way other people know him, John Lewis, and had a few moments, but everybody proud to know him. And, but this one time, he helped me. I went in with Dick Gregory to see Sam Brown to get John Lewis the deputy director job of what he had just been hired to do by Jimmy Carter, which is the head of a thing called Action. We wanted John to be the deputy. So when we got in there, Sam said, "Oh, we'd already done that. I decided on that. Thanks for coming." Um, so in that meeting, John, Dick Gregory's, they were saying, you should hire Jack here. And I'm saying, no, I don't want to be a bureaucrat in Washington, D.C. But I would take Peace Corps director in Lesotho because I knew where it was. It was completely surrounded by South Africa. And I could get a layman's PhD in studies in Latin Africa, Southern Africa in particular. And so I got a chance to get down there and see Lesotho, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. And that out of that meeting with I think his name was Don Green, John Lewis and Dick lobbied for me. So I'm down in Lesotho and I get a text from the State Department that I should be in the Sudan for a meeting about Africa. I think it was particularly with the liberators, the people who were fighting against apartheid in different parts of Africa, and the nonprofits in the United States, or something like that. But I really didn't know why I was going. But it was a great flight. I got to see, I think, Mauritius first. We flew to Mauritius, and then the Dar es Salaam, and then the Sudan, I think, in Khartoum. So I get to the hotel, and ask for a room. Well, and then there's John's nearby. We'd hug. We're looking forward to spending some time together because I had a lot to talk to him about Southern Africa, and he was interested in that. So we're gonna have a great 3 or 4 days, whatever it was. And they say, Mr. Healey, we don't have any more rooms in this hotel, and we're completely booked. And I said, well, I don't. What do I do? Because I'm on this delegation. And so John Lewis says, Jack, I'll take you, no problem. Can you get a cot for him? And I said, yeah, I can get a cot. So I got the room for the next 3 days for the wonderful John Lewis. And we talked about Peace Corps, we talked about peace, we talked about Southern Africa politics in the different countries. The one that surprised him about apartheid, because he already, knew, because he was John Lewis, which is very funny, is in South Africa you had to learn that there was a degradations, I guess you'd call them. First whites at the top, of course, and then I think blacks and mulattoes, and then anyway, there's some order that was very confusing. Anyway, the Chinese were deemed as blacks, and the Japanese were deemed as whites. I wondered about that one because we did have Asian Americans in our Peace Corps volunteers, whether they let them in or not. I had to deal with that issue eventually. But getting to know John all the years, sometimes he'd see me go, he'd say, "Go shopping with me, Jack. We can talk." I said, "John, no, I don't like going with you to the supermarket because everybody likes you. They all talk to you all the time, and you have to talk to them all the time." And I was, of course, I'd kid the hell out of him about it, but it was true. You couldn't go anywhere really without meeting, 15 minutes, 15 people. And I don't know how to explain a relationship like that. John and I just understood one another. We liked one another. I think we both felt we'd come from poor families. His, of course, much poorer than mine, and very difficult in Alabama. Um, Mine a lot easier, but it we had a connection somehow about our decency, our fight for justice. But I was at the March on Washington, heard him as well as Dr. King, of course. There are moments that we shared. When Dick Gregory won the Dawson Award at the Black Caucus in '76, I was a guest of honor of the Dixon. At the table was Fannie Lou Hamer, who told me, "Jack, I'm dying, and I'm with Christ, and I'm okay. I want you to be okay, and I'll see you on the other side." It was quite a moment for me. This great leader, Fannie Lou Hamer, and then there's John Lewis there, and then Dick Gregory there, and I'm sitting with these folks and thinking how lucky and blessed I am. Amazing to be even, you know, I can't tell you how important it is to me, the relationship with John Lewis and my history with John. Um, every once in a while we'd see each other. He lived nearby, about 2 blocks away. We'd see each other walking down the street and say, come and walk with me to Congress. Tell me what you're doing. And I'd say, okay, now it's time for you to tell me what you're doing, John. And so we over the years, we developed really a beautiful relationship. He looked for me, I looked for him. If we're in a crowd, um, I don't know how else to explain it, but I think I said once that he's a living American Constitution. He is the living Bill of Rights. I mean, he was truly. If he had been Catholic, and John loved this, if he was Catholic, he would have been a saint by now. I mean, he's deemed by the Holy Vatican as a saint because he was the same guy behind the door as he was in front of the door. It's amazing, one of the most amazing and lovable people I ever met who did, for civil rights. Immense. We all owe him a great attitude of